Okay, welcome to Flamingle Mingle for the 9th of May. You guys were already a little over a week into May. Tonight's training, we have Kim here, and she is going to be training on front loading. So Kim, if you want to take it away, tell us a little bit about yourself and then take it away on front loading. I'm super excited because front loading is one of my favorite things. So I am going to pin you. So you'll probably see your face the entire time. But I'm going to pin you so it stays up and so that the recording records your face. So we have you front and center for the training.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Ashley, for asking me. This is fun. I always love coming into other people's groups and seeing new faces and getting to kind of pour into some new people. A lot of times I feel like my team gets tired of hearing from me and they love to hear from others. And so I know that other people probably feel that way too. So it's always fun to be able to come in and chat with new people. So I appreciate you guys taking some time out of your busy day to be here. I'm excited to talk about front loading, but before I get into the meat and potatoes, I just want to give you guys like the little Cliff Notes version of who I am and what my Scentsy story is. My name is Kim White. I am a superstar director from Brownstown, Michigan. So if you are familiar at all with the state of Michigan, I'm like right about here, right in that fatty thumb part of the state. I joined Scentsy in 2015. So it's been 6.5 years, which is kind of crazy because aside from being a mom, I've never held a job that long, mostly because I get bored and I just lose interest. And so the fact that I've been doing this for 6.5 years says something, right? In addition to Scentsy, I am a preschool teacher. I teach 3-year-old preschool, and I am a mom of triplets. So I'm busy and I get the chaos of life and somehow manage to, I don't know, survive. I was the crazy lady who, after my kids went into 4-year-old preschool, decided to take a job at the preschool with 3-year-olds. So people were like, what? Why? Like, you're with kids all day. Why would you want to come work here? But all that aside, it's been fun. I love it. That's actually like my break, because now that I do Scentsy full time, that's like kind of like my, fun side gig. And this is like my main gig. So, but I love doing Scentsy, and I feel like if after 6.5 years, I can still be as excited every day when I get up to do whatever it is that I'm going to do over the day for my business, that's a pretty good thing. So I want to talk a little bit about front loading. And before I talk about the actual, I'm going to give you guys like 3 main things that I do in my business to help front load my month, to help stay ahead of my goals so that I'm not chasing things at the end of the month. Before I talk about those couple things, number one, I hope that at the end of this, you guys leave with some inspiration and 1 or 2 little things that you can try to implement into your business. If you're feeling like you're struggling, if you're feeling like, I know a lot, I'm seeing a lot around the Scentsy community that, things are slow and I don't know what to do and things like that. And hopefully some of the things that I mentioned tonight will be things that you can implement that will help with that feeling sluggish feeling that sometimes we have, especially after we have a good month. Typically, we're going to end up with something a little bit slower. It's just the way the business works. But the main thing, regardless of what you take away from this or any other training that anybody else comes in here and does, there is no secret sauce with being successful with Scentsy. There's nothing that any of us can say to anybody that is going to make you successful. But I will say that if there was a secret sauce, in my opinion, it's consistency. And it doesn't matter what you talk about, whether you're talking about building your customer base, growing your PRV, growing your Scentsy Club subscribers, having opportunity conversations, whatever it is. If you're not being consistent with it, it's never going to pan out, because every single time you stop being consistent, you have to go back and start at the beginning. It's like when you're playing chutes and ladders and you get to the chute and you go all the way back down and then you're like, shoot, I got to start all over again, right? And you get frustrated every time you have to do it. So regardless of what little tidbits you take from this training or other trainings that people come in and do, always remember that consistency, regardless, is going to be that secret ingredient that's going to help you see progress in whatever it is that you're working on. Okay. So, when we talk about front loading, obviously you have to start somewhere. But it's really important to, while you're front loading, to not be forgetting about the month that you're in if you're trying to start thinking about front loading your next month. And so typically I'll start thinking about the next month after like right around the 18th of the month is when I really start to dig in and start to kind of ride that line of current month, future month. Now, when it comes to parties, I'm always trying to book 1, 2, even 3 months out. There are even sometimes I will be talking to my hostesses during a current party and I will say, okay, let's do this again in the fall. Like if I had someone that just hosted a party in March or April, I may say, okay, we're going to do this again in the fall when the new catalog comes out. It's 6 months down the road, but if you're having parties every single month and you're already kind of pre-planning their next event, whether it's a home party or a Facebook party or whatever it is, you're already planning and you're already getting those things booked into your calendar. So if you can get people to repeat host, you've already got that person on your calendar and you've got 6 months of following up with the people that were guests at their party. You may get more parties booked from that. You're growing your customer base in that, in that period in between. And so you're growing, but you also know that you have another opportunity to do that again in 6 months. So that's kind of like a long-term front loading strategy if you're going like catalog to catalog. But obviously, if you have repeat customers, I always am asking them about hosting because it's in their best interest to host, whether it's a home party, a Facebook party, a pouch party, a shopping link, whatever it is. It's in every single one of our customers' best interest to host because that's how they get their stuff for cheaper than just placing an order. Scentsy Club is great. They can get discounts on it. They get their half price item and all that stuff, but they can get more free product and more half price items by hosting or doing a shopping link or something like that. So kind of planning for what you want to have in the next time they order is going to help you getting that PRV kind of preloaded. Okay. So front loading your months with parties is obviously going to be big because it's going to give you your opportunity for new customers. It's going to give you the opportunity to grow your customer base. It's going to give you an opportunity to continue to have join conversations and things like that. So getting as many parties booked on the calendar is crucial because that's where you grow. That's like you're planting your seed and you're going to grow from there. But it's not the only way that we work our business, right? I mean, we are a party plan business, but let's be honest, there's a lot of people that are still kind of burnt out on parties, especially Facebook parties, because we've all been virtual for 2+ years now. So you may have people that like doing in-home parties or open houses and things like that, sip and sniffs, where you can meet with them. But if you don't have those people, or that's just not something that's going on in your area right now, you're still trying to work your business virtually. You have to be able to do it in different ways. And so that's where the shopping links and things like that come into play. But doing all of this is doing what? We're front loading so that we can boost our PRV, so that we can meet new people and that we can book more parties and that we can get more teammates. So let's start with PRV because PRV is really the only thing in our business that we have 100% control over. Okay. We can't control what our team members are going to do with their business, which in turn, translates into our TWV and our GWV and all of that stuff, our active frontline. We have no control over what other people are going to do with their business. We can lead them to water. We can give them all of the inspiration, the training in the world, but their business is in their hands. And so PRV is what we have control over. And so one way that I will front load PRV for my own business is pre-orders. So if we're thinking about on a monthly basis, we always have a brand new scent and warmer of the month coming out. So I will usually the last week of the month, I will reveal that to my VIPs first. I have a VIP group on Facebook. I reveal that to my VIPs first. And then usually a day or two later, I will share it on my personal page or in my Facebook, Instagram stories, whatever. to reveal it to everybody. So that last week of the month is really where I'm riding the line and I'm saying, okay, I'm still working on this month. I'm still following up with people. I'm still putting in orders. Of course, I'm not quitting, but I'm also starting to think about where my PRV is going to be coming from the next month. I know that there's a lot of people out there who work jobs or go to school during the day that aren't able to enter pre-orders for people, and that's okay. But you always have the opportunity to share the link with people so that they can put their order in. You're still kind of getting their commitment without having to do the work yourself. If you're not in a position to take and place pre-orders on your customers' behalf, a lot of people will use that as an excuse as to why they can't get their PRV. Like, I can't put in pre-orders because I work a 9 to 5. That statement may be true, but that doesn't mean that you can't get those orders. It doesn't mean that you don't share that product because you're not going to be able to put in pre-orders. You guys, I know that there was a point in time like a year and a half ago where if you couldn't put in pre-orders, your customers might have been out of luck because things were just going instantly, right? But we're not really in that place anymore. We've caught up with all of the growth. We've got inventory. They're much more on, on where we forecast and things like that. So things aren't selling out in the blink of an eye. So if you have somebody who wants to pre-order something and you're not able to do that because you're at work, you still need to be doing the work of sharing that link with them so that they can go in and do it. Now, I will say this. Typically, like right now, I'm talking about pre-orders for like Scent and Warmer of the Month. Those are releasing I'm Eastern time. I'm not sure where all of you guys are at, but I'm Eastern time. So that's 3 a.m. So unless you work second or third shift, you're not at work at 3 a.m. Now, you are sleeping. I understand, as am I. But this is important to me. And so I will set my alarm and I will get up at 3 a.m. and I will put in the pre-order. Whether you decide to do that or not is your prerogative. But the opportunity for you to get that pre-order in is there. And so I think it's important for people to really, it's one of those things where you kind of have to look inside and be like, it's not that I can't, it's that I don't want to. Because a lot of people just don't want to get up in the middle of the night and put in a pre-order, right? I don't want to necessarily do that. But when I when I go back to bed and wake up again, I might have 300 or 400 PRV when I wake up on day one. And so that feels pretty darn good. That's worth getting up for 15 or 20 minutes and then going back to sleep, to me. And so you have to decide whether that's worth it to you in your business, because the opportunity is there. It's just whether it's a priority enough for you to make it happen. Okay. So pre-orders for Scent and Warmer of the Month, pre-orders for anything that's launching like on the 1st of the month, whether it's a seasonal collection or like Mother's Day, Father's Day, whatever. I take pre-orders for those every single month. There was something else I was going to say and I forgot. Oh, and so when I do that, my personal goal for myself is, like I said, to wake up to have 500 PRV in on day one. That's my personal goal. Because I know that I have to get 500 PRV for the month in order for me to check that box and get paid at title. So I have 100% control over that piece of it. So I'm going to knock that out as soon as I possibly can so that I can focus on working with my team so that we can meet those other goals that we have to meet in order to, move forward as a team. So my personal goal is to get 500 PRV in on day one. So I use the last week of the month to get that. I reach out to my people. I share it in my VIP group. I use Project Broadcast a lot. So I send out text in Project Broadcast and I text people and I email people. I'm not a phone call person. I'm not, but I will text you all day long and all night long if I have to. But I will communicate with people, especially if I know that there's somebody who might be interested in something. I will reach out to them personally. So collecting pre-orders when you can is a great way to queue up that PRV so that you can hit the ground running, whatever your goal is. And your goal doesn't have to be 500 on day one. It could be to get active on day one. It could be to get one order on day one, depending on where you are in your business. Obviously, if you're a brand new consultant, saying I need to get 500 PRV on day one is going to be like, it's going to make your brain explode, right? But you have to be able to set a goal. You have to set a goal so that you have something to work towards. If you're just like, getting up on the first going, okay, what are we going to do this month? You're already behind. So you have to plan ahead. We do it in our lives every day. We meal plan, we have planners and we have schedules, and we do all of these things in every other area of our business. If we do it in, or any other area of our life, if we do it in Scentsy, we're going to see success in Scentsy, just like we see the success when we meal plan and we spend less at the grocery store and we are eating better because we are planning ahead. You have to do the same thing in your business. So I'm just looking at comments and I see Beth said, my goal each month is to be active. So that's awesome. So then you kind of back into that. You know, you want to get 200 for the month. So what do you need to do throughout the month to get that? Obviously, if you can get that as early in the month as possible, everything else, once you hit that goal, is sprinkles. I like cupcakes. So I always use sprinkles as, you know, the extra. And then think about it. Once you start getting that 200 sooner in the month and you start seeing that, oh my gosh, you know, I hit 400 this month, or I hit 500 this month because I was working heavy at the beginning of the month and everything else was piling on top of it, then your goal can be bumped up. Because if you're leaving your goal at 200 and you're hitting that on the 5th of the month every month, you're not growing. Because I think something happens in our brains once we hit whatever number we've set out to hit, we get that big sigh of relief and we're like, oh, cool, I did it. And we automatically like pump the brakes. We do, because we've hit a goal that we set for ourselves. And that's why it's important when you're setting goals to stretch. If you know that you're going to hit 200 PRV every month, don't make that your goal, because you're not growing, you're not stretching. Don't make it 5,000, but maybe make it 300 or 400 or 500, right? But the quicker that you can get to that point in the month, the more excess or icing or sprinkles you're going to have. And then each month you can grow because you're going to up that goal and you're going to hit that sooner in the month with this front loading. So I'm going to start getting off on a tangent if I keep talking about that. So we talked about Scent and Warmer of the Month, taking pre-orders. If you can do that, I highly recommend doing it, because how great of a feeling is it to wake up on day one at whatever time you normally wake up and already have PRV on your dashboard. Like it like fires me up when I wake up and I have PRV. I don't know if that makes me strange, but it really does. It really gets me going when I wake up and I know that I have my 500 in, or whatever I happen to get. Sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't, but that's what I shoot for. So same thing with boxes. I'll take pre-orders for whiff boxes and stuff like that, but a lot of my people are the ones that are like, I want to see the sneak peek and all this stuff. I do have some people with it in club, but and I'll give the sneak peek if they want it, but because I don't want somebody to come back and be like, I bought this whiff box and I didn't like what was in it and all that stuff, but whatever. But anything that's launching on the 1st of the month, I will generally always take pre-orders for. So the second thing that's going to help you with front loading is Scentsy Club. So we talked a little bit about Scentsy Club, and Scentsy Club is amazing. So if you're not familiar with it, I highly recommend you go get as much education on it as you possibly can, because it can absolutely change your business. I think every consultant should have a Scentsy Club of their own, even if it's only for 1 month, so that you can see how it works, because it is very hard for us to promote things and market things if we don't know how it works. I mean, think about if you went to a car dealership and you started asking the guy about how all the features on the car, and he couldn't answer the question for you. You're not going to buy a car from that guy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. So it's hard for us to promote Scentsy Club if we're not using it. So if you don't have one, I highly recommend setting one up for yourself and get yourself educated. There's tons of training on the workstation. There's tons of training on YouTube and from different consultants who are amazing with Scentsy Club, with ideas on how to help promote it and things like that. But Scentsy Club is like what I like to call set it and forget it PRV, because people will sign up for it and that PRV is already sitting there waiting for you. I mean, it's not posted yet on the 1st, but you can go into Workstation and see how much Scentsy Club PRV that you're going to get for the month. So you already know what is preloaded for you and ready to go. So, and obviously that can change a little bit if someone skips or cancels or all of that stuff, but typically it's going to give you a ballpark figure, right? You might go in there and you might see, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to have 400 PRV in Scentsy Club alone this month. That's 400 PRV that you didn't have to do the legwork for right now. You've done the legwork already. And that's your legwork paying off, is having that PRV queued up and ready to go. And then the rest of the job is making sure that you're taking extra special care of those people because they're giving you that PRV that you don't really have to work for, right? Because it's set, they set it up and it's there and it's hitting every 1, 2, or 3 months. But that's a great way for you to kind of front load that PRV because it's already going to be sitting there waiting for you. I keep track of all of my Scentsy Club customers on a spreadsheet. I like spreadsheets, but I can see I mean, I know we can see it in Workstation, but I don't know why I feel like I have to be extra and have my own spreadsheet too that has my own stuff in it, but I like color coding things. And so I have a list of who's supposed to be processing this month. And then if they don't, I make them red so that I know that they skipped, and I'll reach out to them if I see that they were supposed, because here's the thing, you guys, somebody could have a Scentsy Club that's scheduled to process. And then if their payment doesn't go through, they get an email. And if I think Scentsy tries it like 3 times, and then if it still doesn't go through, then it skips the shipment and they don't get it till the next time. Well, sometimes people don't get emails or it goes to their junk folder. So I like to stay ahead of that and be like, oh, Susie Q, your Scentsy Club was supposed to process yesterday, but I see that it didn't. I just wanted to check, did you skip it? Or did you see an email from Scentsy? Like, it's another point of communication that you have with people. It's customer service, because maybe they didn't get the email and they don't want to wait another 3 months for their Scentsy Club, and they don't realize that their credit card expired, whatever the case may be. So keeping track of that kind of stuff is important, because that, like I said, that PRV, you want that PRV sitting in there waiting for you every single month. It's work that you don't have to, I mean, it's an area that I don't want to say you don't have to work for it, because you do, and you're going to take care of those people, but it's already sitting there. And so the time that you would have spent maybe getting that 400 PRV for the month, you can be working on other things. You can be doing another party. You can be following up with other customers. You can be having join conversations. It's all the other things that you would be doing, working on getting that 400 PRV. You can be working to get more PRV or more hostesses or more team members. Okay. So it kind of funnels right into more income producing activities because you don't have to worry about that. So that's the second way that I work to front load what I want my final, my goal to be for the month, is I utilize Scentsy Club. I put Scentsy Club flyers in every single thank you that goes out. I don't care if somebody orders from me 10 times a month. I mean, they should have Scentsy Club if they're ordering from me 10. They should be joining if they're ordering 10 times a month, but things take time. But every single thank you, every single time someone orders, they get a Scentsy Club flyer. If they're in Scentsy Club, I don't send them that, but I send them one about the referral program. But they get it every time. Like, I'm going to continue to send this to you until you tell me not to, or you just do it. And sometimes they read it, sometimes they don't. So I also have that conversation, especially if people order things that are limited time. And I will remind them, hey, you've got 6 more days to add this to Scentsy Club if you love it. So you've got to do that, that extra back and forth with them. You have to put in that extra customer service, but it's going to pay off in the long run. And you're going to have that PRV in there that you've earned really at that point. And then you just take care of those people. So that's the second thing. The third thing is growing your customer base. And it's a great way, growing your customer base is what I find people are always like, I don't know how to find new customers. We talked about at the very beginning, hosting parties and events is the easiest way, or I should say the quickest way to get new customers. Fundraisers too. I don't do a ton of fundraisers, but I've done a couple, and I did one last year, and I just did it for her again this year for a friend of mine. And she does an MS walk every year. And I got last year 42 new customers from a month-long fundraiser. 42 people that I would have never had any contact with. I never would have, I've none of them. And when I say new customers, it's literally brand new people that I didn't know on Facebook. I didn't know anything about them. This year, I think I got 26 or 27, because a lot of the people that ordered were from her fundraiser last year, but I got like 26 or 27 new people in the month of April or March, in the month of March, 27 new customers because I did a fundraiser. So that is right there, those 24, 27 new people. When I do my follow-ups with them and I start talking about things that are coming out next month, or here's when our new catalog is coming out, I'm going to start using those new customers to front load for parties. Or I've gotten new team members out of those people. I've gotten new hostesses out of those people. So it's the more people that are in your pool, the more opportunities you have to book parties and get orders and get new team members. And so I think, you know, I say that we don't have 100% control over anything but PRV in our business, but the effort we have control over, but it's our business. And so going out there and putting yourself out there and getting uncomfortable and asking people to host and asking people if they need to reorder, if they're ready to restock, if they want to join Scentsy Club, all of those things, that all contributes to setting yourself up for success on a month to month basis. So I circle all the way back around and I say, at the very beginning, I talked about what would be considered the secret sauce if there was one in Scentsy, and it's consistency. So these things that I mentioned, you guys, I literally do them every single month, like without fail. I'm sharing the scent and warmer of the month. I am contacting people personally. I'm sharing pictures, real life pictures as much as possible with them, samples, following up on samples of scent of the month. It's going in my VIP mailers, all of those things, because my people then know that they're going to get to try that out. And so they know, and I try to get it out, you know, we get our stuff early. And so I try to get my VIP mailers out to my VIP people like before the end of the month so that they can say, yes, I absolutely need to have this. Put me on your pre-order list. Half the time, I don't even have to go and ask them. They come to me after they get their mailer and go, yes, I need this, because they know that I'm going to take that order and I'm going to put it in for them, and that they don't have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning to do it. I will do it for them. And I think that's, you know, when it comes to things like that, like pre-orders and LTO orders, I think it's super important for people, for us to be showing our customers the value that we are providing to them, because something as simple as getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning to place an order, which, you know, like I said, we're not selling out of things instantly like we were at one point, where like we were literally like at our computers like this, like, are you ready? Like nobody had feeling in their fingers because all the blood was going, leaving our arms because we were so nervous. But we're doing our customers a service by getting up early and putting that order in, and then they get to experience the joy of it showing up on their doorstep without having to put in the effort. And that goes a long way. And so when people know that you're going to be there for them, they're going to be sharing you with their friends, because their friends are undoubtedly going to see or smell something in that person's house that they love, and they're going to send them your way. So doing the things that we need to do consistently is going to pay off in so many different ways. So doing one thing is multifaceted, really. And as long as you're doing it consistently, you are absolutely going to see growth in whatever area you're working in. So the Scentsy Club, I don't have them handy. Actually, I have the referral one, and I think I might have gotten it from Ashley because it's got a bunch of pretty like palm tree leaves on it. I'm trying to grab it and I can't. Here we go. I think you created this one, right? Yay! Yes. So I use this as the referral card, and it just explains the referral program. The Scentsy Club flyer I don't have handy. I have them up in my other office, but it's just like it's like a rat card size, and it explains Scentsy Club. I think there's also some. Yes, there's the original, the OG flyer. I think there might even be some like on workstation flyers, like for the Scentsy Club program itself, that people can use. But I've seen Ashley's creations and she's fantastic. So I'm sure she shares those with you guys. But like I said, it's consistency of sharing whatever it is. I mean, honest to God, you guys, you could share a handwritten piece of paper that talks about Scentsy Club. And if you do it every month, eventually somebody's going to be like, what is this thing that she keeps sending me? Right. And they're going to look at it and they're going to go, oh my gosh, why didn't I do this sooner? Right. Because they're going to, it's repetitive. They're going to get used to it and it's going to click one day. You know, sometimes I have a customer that always tells me, she's like, you don't have to put those samples in there every month. I know everything is good. You don't have to make the fancy packaging for me. Just drop it on my porch. But guess what? I do it anyway. I know that I don't have to. And I know that she would be completely happy if I put her bars in a plastic Ziploc bag and dropped them on her porch. She would be completely fine. But I want to consistently show my customers that I care. And so that is something that she remembers. Even though she's told me not to, I do it anyway. So regardless of what you're doing, regardless of what area you're looking to grow in, and I know we're talking about front loading and I'm really bad at focusing. So, but everything that you do is going to really help in that area, because if you're saying to yourself, I want to book more parties, you think about it now and you start doing things consistently, you're going to start booking more parties. You want to get more PRV, you want to up your monthly goal for the month, figure out back into your number. I tell my team to do this all the time. Whatever your goal is, which you guys, if you're not setting a monthly goal, I don't know. It's hard for me to understand how people work their business without having a goal, because you have nothing to work towards. If you don't know what you want your paycheck to look like, or if you don't know what you want your end PRV or how many people you want to grow your team by at the end of the month, you have nothing. You're just like out there floating in space and there's no direction. And so every single thing that you do is going to be driven by that goal. So back yourself into it. And like I said at the beginning, is the quicker you can get to whatever your goal is, the rest of it is icing and sprinkles and bonus and all of that stuff. And then that's going to allow you to boost your goal the following month and boost your goal the following month and boost your goal the following month. And that's when you start growing. So in conclusion, the three main things, like I said, that I do consistently every single month, I take those pre-orders for Scent and Warmer of the Month or anything that is launching on the 1st, I'm taking pre-orders for. I'm collecting my payment 24 hours ahead of time. I'm getting up early in the morning. I'm putting the orders in. I'm going back to bed. I'm waking up with PRV. It's like magic. The other thing I didn't mention, and it's funny that Ashley mentioned it and I'm gonna add it to my thing, but I do mystery boxes too. I'm not gonna go in too in detail about it, but so we talked about Scent and Warmer of the Month and pre-orders. Scentsy Club. Again, Scentsy Club is huge. So if you're not familiar with it, get familiar with it. Number one, get familiar with it, set one up for yourself, and then start talking to your customers about it, because it is amazing. And honestly, most of the time, once people get in, they don't stop. They don't drop it, especially if they have those retired scents, because you're like, there's so many times I'm like, I could probably drop this one. I have 27 bars. And then I'm like, but what if it never comes back? I have to keep it. People get in Scentsy Club and they stay there most of the time. They're going to change things around and that's okay, but they stay there. Follow up and growing your customer base. Because if you're reaching out to your people, that's going to allow you to get people in the queue with orders. This is coming out next month. Our new catalog is coming out next month. Whatever it is, if you're in constant contact with your people, you're going to be able to get orders and get that PRV kind of ready to go for the following month. And then just to touch on the mystery boxes, like I said, I do mystery boxes. And it's a great way to get products into people's hands that they normally might not order. Or a lot of times people are just scared. Like, we don't want to waste our money. Nobody wants to waste money. And so if you ask somebody, or if you put a post up that says like, I have been challenged to sell 10 hand soaps, people are going to be like, I'm really picky about hand soap. I don't want to spend the money on the hand soap. It's $10, whatever. They're not going to buy it. But you could say, I'm doing this $25 mystery box and you're going to get all these full-size products in it. And it's going to be great. And you send them a hand soap and they're like, oh my gosh, I actually do like this hand soap. Or even if they don't like the hand soap, they don't even care because it was a fun box. It's the experience is part of it. The experience is part of the mystery box. And so most of the time they don't even care if they like what's in it. And I always tell my people, if you don't like it, gift it to somebody else because Scentsy makes a great gift. So it's all about the mindset and the thinking too, but that's another great way to front load and boost your PRV is by putting together mystery boxes, because then you've got this product that you need to order. And it's not about making a lot of profit on them, but the money that, or the work that you're doing now, the PRV, you might not be getting a ton of PRV because you're going to be using rewards and all of that jazz to put them together. But that the work that you're doing right now is going to turn into something down the road. So I think one of the big things that I always preach to my team is that there is no instant gratification in a truly successful business. I mean, we've all seen the instant gratification with other companies where people went in and they made a lot of money and everything was great, and then everything crashed and burned. And so now it's like, I think people come into Scentsy a lot of times expecting instant gratification. I see posts where people are like, well, I had my launch party and now nobody's buying and I don't know what to do. I'm going to quit. You have to stay the course. And so you have to do the work today, and it might not pay off tomorrow. It might not pay off next month. It might not pay off until the fall. But eventually, if you're consistent with it, it's going to pay off. And so putting in the work and pushing to hit your goals earlier in the month is going to give you the opportunity to grow more every single month as you go month over month over month. And eventually you can stand back and you'll be able to see, gosh, look how far I've come. It's very hard sometimes for us to look at the big picture when we're like in the trenches and we're doing the work, and maybe we're not seeing that instant gratification or that overnight success that everybody wants. But if you stick with it, you're going to see the progress. So the things that I mentioned, I hope that if there's one thing that you take away is that if you decide you want to start taking pre-orders, if you decide you want to go learn more about Scentsy Club, whatever it is, stick with whatever it is for no less than 3 months. I would say 6 to 12, but I think sometimes telling people 6 months is even a lot. You have to stick with things for at least 3 months, because you can't do it once and not see success and then quit. After 3 months, if something's not working, then you look at it and go, okay, what can I do differently? Or maybe I should try this angle instead. But you can't immediately quit if you don't see success. So whatever it is that you might try to implement into your business, if anything from what I've talked about tonight, promise me that you will at least stick it out for 3 months. Be consistent with it, because that's gonna make it or break it. Being consistent, stick with it for 3 months. Go to your planner and put in there, I need to reveal the scent and warmer of the month on the 26th of the month, and I need to put in my pre-orders on the 1st, whatever it is, however it works for you. But stick with it, because I promise that you will start to see that growth. I can't promise you $2,000 months. I can't promise you $10,000 paychecks. I can't promise any of that. But what I can promise you is that if you do these things consistently, you will see growth in your business. And if you stick it out, eventually you're going to blow your own mind and blow your own goals out of the water. Because I think pretty much anybody in this business at any level has probably surprised themselves. I don't think there's a lot of people that come into Scentsy going, yep, I'm going to hit SSD and I'm going to be making all this money and I'm going to be doing all these things and earning all these trips. People don't come into it with those expectations. But when you start seeing progress, you start learning that you're capable of pretty amazing things. And so you have to stay the course in order to get there. So just promise me, if you plan to put any of these things into your businesses, that you will stick with them. And I promise you'll see some growth. So that's the meat and potatoes. If there's any questions, I'm happy to answer questions. I know we talked a little bit about the flyer, and Ashley shared her goodies. But I'm happy to answer any other questions you guys might have.
It makes my heart happy that you're using the Scentsy Club referral.
I love it.
That's one of the things that I absolutely love is I traded majors so much in high school that I have like a little bit of toe dipped in so many different things. And graphic design was one of my majors in college, not in high school, in college. So I have a little toe dipped in graphic design, so I enjoy making them. I make them all the time.
Well, people like me who didn't get the creative bone appreciate people like you so very much, because I mean, I can do things here and there in Canva, but it's like, I know there's you and a handful of other people that share stuff, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I love you. Because I appreciate being able to share resources and being able to grab things from other people who are good at that, where that's an area that I'm not great in. And instead of spinning my wheels trying to recreate something, the fact that we can all share it and it makes you feel good that someone else is using it and not threatened, you know, that it's a really cool thing.
Well, I think that says a big sentiment towards like Scentsy's culture and our atmosphere here at Scentsy is that we don't gatekeep anything from anybody. Like there are very few, if any, leaders who I have met who will gatekeep what they're working on or what they're doing. We all share trainings. We all are like very willing to help. And it's a big testament to who we are as a business and as a company is that we just are so willing to help other people, whatever we take from each other's strengths, which is nice.
Absolutely.
Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns? See. Oh, and June 27th is our training all about mystery boxes. If anybody was wondering about that, I looked up the date for it. We have all of our Flamingle Mingles planned out until December, so don't worry. Love it. Love the QR. Beth said she just created her own QR code window cling last night. I love mine. I need to start paying for Linktree to see whether or not somebody's actually scanning it, but I do use my Linktree QR code a lot. Love it. Okay, but it doesn't look like anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns. So I just wanted to say thank you so much, Kim, for coming and training. I genuinely appreciate it. I know at least I got something out of it. So I am so excited to start front loading even more. And I have not been putting Scentsy Club flyers in Happy Mail. And I was literally just thinking to myself, well, I need to go do that now. I need to go create one and then share it in the director page.
I would appreciate that.
I will share it with you, I promise. Beth wants to know if you have a second here. Let me turn off the recording real fast. Stop.